That shows that this man has been has been planning for this thing for so long. And he showed in the way he ran his campaign. It was strategic, it was planned, it was structured in a way that like a real company. I don't know if you understand what I meant. Every action that they took in that election was just hitting the right spot.
Yes, I understand you, but you are just talking about the track records and you feel that is one of the things that actually led to his winning. But I want us to talk about the allegations too. Ashiwaju wasn't a saint in the campaign. No accusations here. Because the track records were coming from his supporters and the allegations were weighty and heavy from the opposition. How do you think, putting success and failure together, this man was able to succeed?
I think what we saw there, even before the primaries, was years of preparation. Politics, like war, is like a chess game. It has to be properly planned. No step must be taken for the fun of it. Every step must be taken with bearing in mind that you want to achieve something.
So the allegations don't matter?
The allegations, it just happened to be that none of those allegations were. It does not have a certificate. First, that could make some sense to people. Oh, did this guy forge? Then people got to know later, those that may not be too familiar with Ashwaji, that okay, he had worked with multinational companies. He couldn't have forged his certificate, or he couldn't have worked there with no education. So reasonable people began to advocate. Okay, this is a. I will tell you that some of his accusation got him sympathies. Yeah, some began to look like, just like Joseph, when his brothers ganged up, saying, look, you are the dreamer. You would lead over us. And then they sold him to. When he got to the prison, that is, even when he had issues with Potiphar's wife, eventually gained him favor, gained him sympathy. When it happens, Pastor Paul Enenche gave a very popular sermon where he said, look, when it appears like the whole world is stoning, God would choose to side with such fellow. I wouldn't know if Enenche forgot that sermon, but he gave that sermon. It went viral. So he gained sympathy from people. What is it that every week a fresh scandal? Every week a fresh scandal. Then it became what was it again? Drug
baron.
Drug baron. Now that drug baron came from a guy who is a fugitive. I'm an Ashwaji supporter. I hold no one of apology, even though this show is non-partisan. So I followed the man at close range, but I also followed others. When Onden gave that interview, and it made the wave, some people believe, saying, no wonder that's the source of his wealth. How could he have raised millions working as an auditor? Then Onden shot himself on the leg by attacking another of our hero, MQ.
MQ Abiola.
Tudu left arrested. He couldn't cope. She couldn't cope. She left. Because it now appeared to some, especially Yoruba, saying, okay, it's like you people have an agenda against us. That was how you said MKO. All that a ship, a vessel, bringing Bibles to be sunk. They saw it as an agenda. That was how you said Awolowo starved Biafrans. Awolowo didn't return you guys money. It's becoming a generational agenda. So he gained the man sympathies. Later you said he was sick, he was dying, or he's dead, he's going to die, he's buried. Those things, people now began to pay attention to his rallies, his interviews. Oh, he's having dementia, Alzheimer. Then I said, him bringing up old events, just like the Emilokon speech,
right,
where some contrary news have been flying. Oh, it was Aregbe that called me. It was Amosun that called me. The man gave us an historical narrative. Dementia do not work in that manner. So an American posted something about dementia, and I read the comments. Dementia, your dad, if he suffers dementia, would forget you have children, and will sit you down every morning to tell you, when are you going to give me grandchildren? That's how it works. It's either you forget the closer memories or you forget older memories. Then it gets worse. A man giving you an historical narrative of 34 years.
But there was Bala Blue in the midst of all of this historical 30 to
The
40
thing
years
about
experience.
Bala Blue, one is that people discovered that all of them, all the candidates, the major ones that were in our faces, made blunders. Even the young ones, Showore said he finished university before he actually entered. It was a mistake.
But Joe, you've forgotten that Balabulu, in the actual fact, Balabu was not a blunder.
No,
What the man was saying,
I'm even going there.
It's a question like saying that it should be on the conventional TV for debate and what have you. And he was continuing it by saying that he will not do that. I would rather do town hall different from Bala Blue. What he was saying is an expression, it's idiomatic or it's metaphoric. What he was saying is that Bala Blue, instead of going everywhere, blah, 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 just doing blah, blah, Bala Blue, it was not a slip of tongue.
No, I'm even going there. Even
Watch
though
the rest of the
There's
statement.
Agbado in your pocket.
even though
There's Agbado in your
But
pocket.
that's the honest
let me
truth.
quickly
Watch
add
the
to that.
full,
Even those that
watch
were
the
actual
full.
slips, like PDAPC, even those that were actual slips, people discovered that all of them made similar blunders. Even the ones not contesting, like Atiku's wife. Don't understand. So, in the heat of the moment,
We go
having to shout APC, sloganeering,
thousands
protocol, and what have you.
of supporters.
But they began to watch the man's interviews. And the one that broke the comments back was
And it's NESG.
NESG.
Summit Group, Nigeria.
Where
Economic
even
Group.
the staunchest obedience admitted this man knows it.
So it got to a point where people actually got the conviction they
It got
needed.
to a point, he gained the people's sympathy. People know that there must be something else why you guys don't want us to vote this man, or why you don't want this man to get there, especially when the rumors were thick that elements of the villa are working strongly against it.
And the cash punch when he said that.
Exactly.
He said that.
Bagbo, Pamo,
Bagbo,
Egbe Naira, Pamo.
Meaning, if you like your eyes,
So
the
a lot
bodies.
of people felt that, Atiku said supported it initially, Obi supported it all the way.
Yeah.
And this man was the only person, even against his own party's policy, that said and came out to talk, for the masses in a certain way. So, some people felt that, why is this man coming out to say this and supporting us? So, I think I can agree with Joe that he developed sympathy.
And I think also there are a lot of ways to Asiwaju's victory, to be honest. Right for me, if not because some other sudden things or shocks came along the way, days to election and all of that. For me, immediately he clinched that ticket, I know it was done and dusted. Because APC was a ruling party. It was the most contested primaries. It was the primaries people were looking up to because of the events that led to the primaries. Remember I said earlier on that it was a party that actually did not have a chairman for almost 2 years. There was an issue of the convention before then. They finally held the convention, and which would have probably showed who owns the vital portion of the structure of the party. You get my point. So it was a power tussle from years back. And one thing I learned about Asiwaju is that he understands his errors. Coming back to gain the support of the
Great must talk on this Asiwaju story. So round up. I need great to round it up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I really want to say that some would
See the Asiwaju victory to me has a connotation of number one, destiny. Number two is plan. As some of you may already know, maybe as far back as 1998, I already know that one day Asiwaju will be the president of Nigeria. In fact, if you go back into my tweet, for those who do those back thing, you would have found somewhere maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago where I've been saying that Asiwaju will be or the most appropriate candidate for the presidency of Nigeria. But the little I knew of the man, because my dad used to work with NITEL, that I knew Asiwaju when he was working in Mobile House or his Mobile building. Then at the island, my dad was in TBS. My dad had always loved the style, especially when he was a senator and stuff like that. Now, when you look at the little involvement I had with this man was in the 90s, just as he was about to become governor. And I worked with one of his closest ally, Professor Rocco Shekoni. The way they spoke, the way they do things on a daily basis, the plan, these guys are very, very intentional about what they want to do. At that time, internet was just coming out and Windows 98 was what I typed some of the messages between them. I have seen these guys are very thorough. As at that time, they were doing research. As at that time, they'd be able to do different permutations. There are some things that we saw in this election today that are cacophony, like maybe blunders and some of those things. In politics, you can call it cacophony of news, where you doing something, but it's to distract your opponent from what they should have been focusing on. APC created a lot of cacophonies. I'm just saying this to you. And they are all planned. They are science. So this man, that's what I'm saying. I'm going to repeat it again. Under no circumstances, there is nobody. In fact, I can almost say in the whole of Africa, there is no politician like Jagaban. He's one in a generation. He's the like of Nnamdi Azikiwe, the like of Awolowo. That is what we have in Jagaban.
Vision, but the confidence is saying that it's about.
I'm not hearing you well.
Confidence. I said I like a submission, but the confidence that is about the biggest politician in the whole of Africa. I'm sure.
I didn't hear that at all.
They're coming after you. They just got full in their Okay, so I was saying that you're establishing that Asiwaju is undoubtedly the biggest politician in Africa. You should be ready for the choice because trust me, they just got to the fuel station to get diesel and they're going to drag you like.
Okay, there's nothing like dragging here. I'm not one of the people that drag. I don't do violence. But the honest truth is that even other politicians in Africa are saying it. You've heard the president of Guinea said it. You've heard the leaders in Kenya say it. You've seen South Africans say it. People studied this man. In Yoruba, there is something said that someone is not, Edia or Wulo in his own. It is in your own home that you are looking at this man. The whole of the world, even the West, know him that is extremely politically sagacious. I'm not going to be surprised that even Americans are learning from the way Nigerians do elections now. You see in Americans now, they are beginning to hang out AMPAS. Also, just like Nigerians are doing things, people will learn from Asiwaju. He will be one of the top leaders in the world. Watch it.
All right, thank you very much. Great, interesting submission, interesting conversation.
I think we still need to do a part two of Asiwaju to the truth. We just opened it. Yeah, we have a lot of stages, primaries, post-primaries, till now. So there's a number of this time. So for Asiwaju's road to victory it's an interesting one, to be honest with you.
Your last thoughts, Dolapo.
Yeah, I think that we have all said what we need to say, and we can't be wrong about how we have approached this thing. I think the winner was obvious from the beginning. When you look at the history and when you look at how this man has gone about his business, so I want to say that it's been an exciting journey in terms of political knowledge and space in Nigeria. I'll give it to the opposition too, especially the opinion team. They need everyone interested in what was going on. Even people that would naturally be interested in politics, and they started seeing the need to involve themselves in politics. So I think it was a very, very good election season.
Alright, so let them do it.
Yeah, I think all the players should now realize that politics is a game of number, a game of strategy, a game of bridge building. An election are not free and fair only when you win. Awolowo there was no greater politician than Awolowo in my reckoning. He never became president, and heavens did not fall. So wise men would learn and prepare better for the next election.